Hi, my name's Emma Bolger, and I did my research paper over social media's influence on Generation Y consumers' purchase decisions. For the introduction, the purpose of this study is to investigate social media's effect on Generation Y consumers' purchase decisions. While there has been a significant amount of research on purchase decisions, the emergence of social media has changed the way consumers shop online. Because of this change, there is little information in regard to how social media influences these consumers' purchase decisions. This study will help in recognizing the different factors within Facebook, Instagram, fashion blogs, and other social media platforms that affect consumers' purchase decisions. These factors include whether or not others influence consumers while shopping and how social media as a whole influence consumers. For the review of literature, there are three key terms: Generation Y, social media, and purchase decisions. However, because social media is relatively new, there has been little research done on how these terms relate to each other. Because social media is a new way to influence consumers, there needs to be more research about the topic. Generation Y is very important, if not the most important demographic to consider when discussing social media and the influences it has on consumers' purchase decisions. Generation Y has a spending power of over $600 billion per year, and that buying power will only continue to grow as Generation Y grows up. Generation Y can be defined as the generation of Americans born in the 1980s and 1990s, and are also called the millennials. For the second key term, social media has gained a lot of popularity in the last few years, and one main reason is that it gives consumers a new way to shop online. Social media is defined as forms of electronic communication, as websites for social networking and microblogging, through which users create online communities to share information, ideas, personal messages, and other content. The different social media platforms include Facebook, Instagram, fashion blogs, Twitter, and many others. And these platforms create online communities where everyone, not just consumers, can communicate and share opinions. For the third key term, purchase decisions, this can be defined as perceptions about the purchase of an item that might be able to influence a consumer's purchase decision. For this study, a purchase decision is defined in terms of whether or not the consumer will purchase an item based on the product pricing perception, shopping experience, customer service, and customer risk. For the instrument section of the research paper, data collection was obtained through a survey developed by the researcher. The survey was developed based on the research questions and included a screening question which asked the participants' gender and age. If the participant answered male or was not between the ages of 18 and 29 years old, then the participant was sent to the end of the survey and data from that participant was not included in the analysis. Other demographic questions asked included employment, classification, and discretionary income. After the demographic questions, participants were asked psychographic questions that pertain to the research questions. These psychographic questions included whether or not participants had social media accounts, the amount of time spent on social media per day, and whether or not the participant had purchased an item after seeing it on social media. The question types asked in the survey included Likert scales, ranking, and attitudinal questions. For the procedure and data analysis section of the paper, to collect the data in this research, a survey was created by the researcher using Qualtrics. The link was posted on the researcher's Facebook and Twitter accounts, and along with the link, instructions were stated that only females between ages 18 and 29 years old should participate. There were also 2 qualifying questions used in the survey to ensure that the participants were within the age range of 18 and 29, and that they were also female. In the introduction of the survey, participants were informed of the purpose of the study, that their responses were anonymous, and that participation was greatly appreciated. Because the research focuses on female Generation Y consumers, they were asked the 2 qualifying questions in order to fully complete the survey. Other demographic questions included classification, enrollment status, employment, and discretionary income. And participants were then asked the likelihood that they would spend their discretionary income towards shopping, if they had social media accounts, and if so, which platforms they used, as well as the amount of hours per day they spend on social media. Participants were also asked to rank different social media platforms from favorite to least favorite. The last part of the survey contained questions that directly related to the research questions. The survey asked participants if they follow stores they shop at online on social media, if they have bought an item after seeing it on social media, and certain items that influence whether or not they purchase an item after seeing it on social media, such as price, secure checkout, and customer reviews. The final question of the survey asked the participant whether or not they trust a retailer more if they have a social media presence. For the results portion of this research, the purpose of the study, again, is to investigate social media's effect on Generation Y consumers' purchase decisions. The constructs that were questioned and analyzed in this research study were social media will influence Generation Y consumers' purchase decisions, and that social media platform that will have the greatest influence on Generation Y consumers' purchase decisions will be fashion blogs. The sample used focused on female Generation Y consumers between the ages of 18 to 29. And in total, 36 people took the survey, but only 30 surveys were completed and usable. The 6 surveys that were not used were either not fully completed or were done by males. The survey was created using Qualtrics, and the link to the survey was posted on different social media platforms. Participation in the survey was voluntary. Out of the 30 females that completed the survey, 23% were between the ages of 18 and 20, and 77% were between the ages of 21 and 23. There were no participants above the age of 24 years old. In terms of classification, 1 participant was a freshman, 4 participants were sophomores, 7 participants were juniors, and 17 participants were seniors. There was 1 participant that chose other, which we conclude based on another question means that she did not attend school. 90% of respondents were full-time students, while 3% were part-time students, and 7% did not attend school. Of the 30 respondents, 43% had part-time jobs, 3% worked full-time, and 53% did not have a job. For discretionary income, which included money received monthly by parents, only 1 participant received less than $50 per month, while 27% of participants stated that they received between $100 and $200 per month, 13% received between $200 and $300 per month, and the majority of participants, with 57%, stated that they received more than $300 per month for discretionary spending. Because this survey was focused on the influence of social media on consumers' purchase decisions, all 30 participants of the survey had a social media account. Also, 100% of respondents stated that they follow stores they shop at on social media. From a list of 6 different social media platforms, participants were asked to select all of the ones that they access. 100% of respondents access Facebook, 97% have Instagram accounts, 83% use Snapchat, 73% access Pinterest, 70% have Twitter accounts, and 27% visit fashion blogs. Of these 30 participants, 53% spend between 1 and 3 hours per day on social media. 30% said that they spent 4 to 6 hours on social media per day, and 17% stated that they spent more than 6 hours a day on social media. In the survey, participants were asked to rank different social media platforms in order from favorite to least favorite on a scale of 1 to 7. The lower mean indicated the most favorite social media platform, and the higher the mean indicated the least favorite social media platform. For the most popular social media platform was Instagram, with a mean of 1.63, a median of 1, and an IQR of 1. Facebook was second. Snapchat had a mean of 2.97. Pinterest had a mean of 4.3, and fashion blogs were the least favorite with a mean of 4.9. 90% of respondents said that they have bought an apparel or fashion item after they saw it on social media platform, and only 10% said that they had not. Of the 27 participants that have bought apparel or fashion item after seeing it on social media, 7% said that they purchased the item after seeing it on a fashion blog. 11% said they bought it after seeing it on Facebook, and the majority of participants, with 70%, said that they bought an item after seeing it on Instagram. 11% responded with other, 2% listing Pinterest, and 1% listing Manello. When respondents were asked whether or not they trusted a retailer more if they have a social media presence, 80% said that they do, and 20% said that they did not. When asked how likely respondents are to spend their discretionary income towards shopping, the mean was 3.23 on a 4-point scale, ranging from very unlikely to very likely. Looking at a median equal to 3 and an IQR of 1, this shows that most respondents were likely to spend their discretionary income towards spending. Participants were also asked how likely certain items influence whether or not they buy an item after seeing it on social media on a 7-point Likert scale, ranging from very unlikely to very likely. Price had a median of 6 and an IQR of 1, which shows that price likely influences whether the participant purchases an item after seeing it on social media. Whether or not there is a link that takes the consumer directly to the item to purchase it had a median of 6 and an IQR of 1, which also shows that respondents were likely influenced by this when deciding whether or not to purchase an item. When participants were asked if a friend had recommended an item through social media, the median was a 6 and the IQR was 3. The median shows that participants were likely influenced to buy an item if their friends recommended it, but the IQR shows that the answers did vary. Other influences that were asked in the survey were brand, the form of social media the item was on, if it was endorsed by a celebrity, if the item was recommended by a fashion blogger, and if the item was seen on a celebrity that endorsed it. When looking at a page on social media, 93% said that photos of the product influenced their confidence in the product, while 70% said that customer reviews influenced their confidence in the product. 60% stated that secure checkout influenced them, and 53% said easy navigation was an influence. Participants were also asked to rank how much they agree or disagree with these statements regarding how confident they are in purchasing a product they have seen advertised on social media on a 5-point Likert scale. With a median of 5 and an IQR of 1, participants strongly agree that a secure checkout for a product gives the consumer confidence in purchasing an item that they have seen advertised on social media. And the median of 4.5 and an IQR of 1 shows that participants strongly agree that customer reviews of the product gives them confidence in purchasing a product they have seen on social media. Other criteria that influences the confidence that participants had when purchasing a product they'd seen advertised on social media included secure checkout, good photos of the product. When asked to rank how much influence social media has on consumers' purchase decisions on a 3-point Likert scale, from no influence to frequently influences, the majority of participants stated that social media occasionally influences their purchase decisions. This is shown by the median being 2 and the IQR being 1. Cross-tabulation between whether or not participants had purchased an item after seeing it on social media and what social media platform they saw the item they purchased shows that 19% said that they had purchased an item after seeing it on Instagram. 3 participants purchased an item after seeing it on Facebook, and only 2 participants bought an item after seeing it on a fashion blog. From the results analyzed from the survey, both hypotheses were answered. The first hypothesis stated that social media would influence Generation Y consumers' purchase decisions, and participants of the survey stated that social media occasionally influences their purchase decisions with a median of 2. Also, 88% of respondents stated that they had purchased an item after seeing it on social media, which proves that social media does influence consumers' purchase decisions. The second hypothesis stated that of different social media platforms, fashion blogs would have the greatest influence on Generation Y consumers, and this hypothesis was not accurate. Instead, over half of the participants stated that between different social media platforms, they purchased an apparel or fashion item after seeing it on Instagram, and only 2 respondents stated that they had purchased it after seeing it on a fashion blog. For the conclusion portion of the paper, this research provides new information about the Generation Y consumer, as well as the influence that social media has on consumers' purchase